Alright, I am Benjamin Sheets, and this is my project for my CSCI 385 class. And what I decided to do it on was ransomware in the healthcare industry. To the next slide. Alright, so basically, I chose this topic because the healthcare industry is important, so I figured that with ransomware, it would make it a big target. Since everyone has to use it, if you could cause problems for it, they would likely pay money to get their systems back online and get rid of those problems. Now, the topics that will be covered in this will be what makes healthcare a prime target, what can happen as a result of the attacks, and risk mitigation. Alright. So there are a few reasons why healthcare is a prime target for ransomware. The organizations aren't able to invest a lot of money into cybersecurity, which is a pretty big issue when you think about it because they're something caught in my throat there. Their systems won't be as secured, so there could easily be problems that will cause a delay in the system, which in some cases can happen and stuff can still work, but most of the time they cannot afford delays. And another reason would be that businesses are becoming a bigger target than individuals because there's more money that can be made from targeting a business rather than an individual. Now, some of the consequences of the attacks, and I have some examples here. So, the first example is one that happened at the Great Plains Health Medical Center, which that attack made the staff use pen and paper and slowed their systems to a halt. So they were forced to use pen and paper. They had no other option if they wanted to continue operation. And then another attack, it caused a delay that cost a patient their life. And the thing about that attack is that the hospital wasn't even the target they were going after. That was a unintentional result that happened. And in other cases, if a business loses money, there's a chance that they aren't even going to get money back, even if they are insured. And finally, one more consequence, which you can't exactly guarantee that it will happen, but paying the ransom can encourage more attacks, and it can also, in some cases, cause the attackers to raise the price for the ransom, because people will be more likely to pay the ransom, so they'll just keep moving it up and up until they stop paying, basically. Now, some ways that you can have risk mitigation. 95% of attacks are caused by human error, so because of that, training of employees is highly recommended. Since if your employees will know what to look out for and what to be careful of, it will be less likely that they will cause an attack to get through. Other helpful tips would be to use backups and have a recovery strategy. That way, if the system is no longer usable, you could always revert to an earlier version of the system. And even then, a recovery strategy helps just because you know what to do in the case of an attack. And another one which is helpful for everything when it comes to computers would be regularly update antivirus and the operating systems. That way, it becomes harder for the attacks to get through because the updated antivirus will catch it before it happens, and the operating systems, when they're updated, there's a chance that the ow, that the exploits that are in there currently that some attacks may take advantage of, that they are patched and can no longer be used. So now my conclusion. So my conclusion is basically that ransomware can be a major problem. The healthcare industry is a prime target because the money that could be made there if they get attacked and decide to pay the ransom. Ransomware can cause debilitating consequences because, as we've seen, it made one organization have to resort to pen and paper, and it has cost a patient their life. And finally, that the healthcare industry should be prepared. That way they won't get attacked or they won't have successful attacks nearly as much, which would require them to train their employees and just have backups and a recovery plan so they can be prepared for when attacks do occur. And here are my references.